So this is where we left off. We created a simple sequence of videos. We trimmed them. We added a style to them. We also organized the placement and also worked with the time of each of these videos. So we slow-moed some of them. We scaled in for the others. And now in this lesson, we're going to see how we could add transitions between these videos. And I'm going to show you guys some that are really simple and some of them that may need a little bit of practicing. But we're going to keep things really simple for this lesson. So as you move on with this course, you can only get better. Right, so I'm going to first turn off my adjustment layer because I want to put these guys, although we can just leave it on. So I'm going to first decide what transition I want for these clips. So I have this guy. Maybe I'll make this kind of dissolve into this shot, or maybe we could even do a sliding motion. So it slides to the side. And then over here, we're going to do a cross dissolve. And then here we're going to do like a mask transition. So let's start with this guy. We said we're going to move this guy away and then it fades into this video. So in order to do that, we're going to be working with the position transform option. So just click on the layer, the first layer. We're going to hit P on our keyboard to get the position tab. And also going to kind of stretch the first video out. I have to do it the other way. So down here, I'm going to turn on my position because the first shot, I want my coffee video to be here. And actually for this, I would have to move my camping video in the right order. So I'll have to work with the adjustment later. All right, so I'm going to stretch my coffee video actually. Just stretch it out a little bit. And then in the second keyframe, so the first one is just the original spot. In the second keyframe, I'm going to move it along the x-axis. So the first one, move it to the left. You guys can do it to the right if you want. It's going to go all the way out until it's out of the screen. So that's what we just did. And by the way, because After Effects is rendering, the clips will be a little laggy. So it has nothing to do with your original video. We just have to let the top bar turn green for it to render. We could then see the final effect. I'm also going to grab these two keyframes, right click, and we are going to go to keyframe assistance, the last one, and put easy ease in. So usually we would go with F9, which is just easy ease, but now we're going with this guy, and you can see that the icon is different too. And I'm gonna let this load. And come here. Let the whole video load so you guys can see a smooth playback. Okay, now let's see what we did. So it's our video and then it moves to the right. And remember we said that the smaller the space between the two keyframes, the faster the motion. So if I want this to be really slow, I would bring the first one here and it would go by really slowly. So let me show you that to you. If I stretch this out, let it render, come back. And because I brought it here, I need to stretch my second video with it, or else underneath is just going to be this black screen because we have a black solid underneath all of our layers. Just gonna let that play, render out. All right, now we can see a preview. So you see it's moving by a lot more slowly, and if we move it closer, it's going to move faster. So I'm going to hit Control Z. I want mine to move a little faster, so something like this. And to make things look more smooth, apart from using the easy ease in, and the shortcut for that is Shift F9. So usually you would do F9, now you're holding Shift as well. So on the coffee layer, there are some icons up here. Just turn on motion blur, this guy. Just turn it on here, and now you can see it kind of blurred out the motion. So this is going to make our transition a lot more smoother. Gonna let it render again so we can see the effect. All right, let's look at the playback. So now you can see it kind of blurs the side, and this will kind of make for a more smooth effect. I'm going to actually make this faster, so I'll minimize the space between the two. I'm going to close my paragraph panel. We're now working with text. Lay this back. You can see it was a lot faster. Let me do that again. You can see it's pretty fast. Let me actually make it a little slower. All right, so this was our first transition. It didn't take a lot of time. We just simply moved our coffee layer to the left and completely out of the screen. We created keyframes. We made them more smooth by making them easy ease in and also adding motion blur to that layer. This was our first transition. Really simple. Let's move on to our next transition. So for this, we said that we wanted to dissolve into the city video. So again, I'm going to expand my video, the camping video, and also the city video underneath to move it here. All right. So now on my camping video, I'm going to go at the start of where I want my transition to happen. Then I'm going to hit T on my keyboard. Then we're going to get the opacity. So turn on the stopwatch. So it's 100% here. And then go at the end of this video and then make it 0. So because we're not seeing the black solid underneath, we're seeing city instead, it's not going to fade to black. It's just going to fade normally. Grab these guys, F9, go back. You can see it fades away. Let me do that again. It's a little laggy. See, it just fades away. Now, if you guys don't know when you should be using easy ease in and easy ease, basically when you're working with motion where things are moving around, like you're working with position, and so we moved the entire screen to the left, you're going to use easy ease in. You can see the icon is also in a direction, but easy ease is for a more still movement. So when we're using opacity, we're not really moving things. We're just making this clip disappear. So this is a quick way to know which one to use. And this was my second transition. Now let's move on to the third one. For the third one, we said we wanted to use a shape layer to kind of mask out the city video into this guy, the skateboard video. I'm going to grab camping and coffee, hit M to close their panels. So on my city layer, I'm going to grab the shape tool. You can get a circle, a square, anything you want. I'm going to go with a circle. I'll hit Q to pan through and get ellipse. Now look at the icon next to our cursor. It's a mask icon because I am selecting this layer and then choosing the shape layer. So I'm going to hold down Shift to make a perfect circle. Like that. Hit V to just move this guy around a bit. I'm going to work with the sides a little too big for me. And we're actually moving the thing. Hold on, let me turn this off. Do it again. Bring this guy back. And we have something for, okay, we have a scaling thing. Turn that off. Let's switch to a square shape because square is easier, and then we'll go towards the harder shape, which will be the ellipse. And basically when you have sharp edges, it's going to be easier to do this transition, but then later we're going to do it with a circle so you can see how it will look with another shape. And instead of a regular mask, let's actually try using a normal shape layer. So it will look better. I'm gonna grab and hold down Shift to make a perfect shape. There we are. And then I'm gonna hit V to just get the selection tool and move it to the center. Let me turn on snapping. Or actually get the align panel. Just center my shot. So centered vertically and horizontally. Just click those two and it will be centered. Turn this off. Turn the fill to nothing. So hit on the fill text to change it to none. If you want, you could add a stroke. It'll look nice. So I'm going to add like a white stroke. Make it bigger. Like so. And I'm going to see what else I could do to make it look better. Let me go to rectangle. The path one. We could round it up actually. I'll go with a rounded rectangle. Then I will move the shape to the center. I'll hit these two. And I'm actually noticing that my video is a bit tilted. I'll hit Control R or Command R to get my ruler tool and just drag one from the center. And I'm trying to see the center line here. So you could see that this line is not aligning with this. So we need to rotate the video. Let me close this. Go on City, hit R. Don't turn on the stopwatch. We just want to fix something. Make it at least equal. Zoom in. So the roads are a little different. You do that. Okay, -1 will do. Let's zoom out and do the same thing for the vertical line. Trying to find a common line. Okay, the vertical scale is correct. Just the horizontal line was a little tilted. Gonna center this again. Hit M on City to close that off. Alright, so now we have a shape tool. And I'm going to move the anchor point to the center of my shape. There we are. And we're going to create a mask underneath this shape. Alright, so I'm going to make a keyframe for our shape layer 1. So first I'm just going to make it as small as the clip. Hit Control Shift D to trim it. And then just bring it in between the area where you want the transition to take place. So for me, that would be around here. Let me move it like so. So this is where the transition will begin. And after that, it will just fade away. So we're going to go at the start of our shape layer 1. Hit S on the keyboard. And before I hit the stopwatch, I'm going to make it really small, to the point where we're not even seeing it. Just go to 0, type in 0. It's in the center. And then by the end, I forgot to turn on the stopwatch. Turn on the stopwatch. And then by the end of the shape layer, make it more than 100. So let's go for like 200. because it needs to be bigger, just go all the way out of your frame. Gonna F9 these two. Render my clip so we don't get the lag. Alright, let me play that again so we can see it. It fades away, and then we got this shape, starts from the center and just expands all the way here. Alright, so we got this. Now we need to make the city video, kind of, the skateboard video to appear with this guy, and for the city to fade away as well. So I'm going to expand my skateboard video, come all the way here, and I'm going to expand the end to where it was, hit T, see if the keyframes are okay. It fades away here. All right, so we just expanded the video, and I'm going to start making a mask layer. So I need to bring this guy, the skateboard, above city. Just bring it here. And I'm going to, so now you can see instead of the city we have this guy, but I want the skateboard, let me come here. I want the skateboard to appear as this guy is getting larger. So I need to go in the beginning of my shape, make sure my video starts at that point too. And then we're going to make a mask of this shape. So on my skateboard layer, let me hit M to close opacity. M for that too. On the skateboard layer, we're going to draw a rectangle. Sorry, a square. I'm going to come in a few frames forward to see what size I need it to be. And then just make my skateboard video as big as that. Do that again. And if you choose to continue with this square, it's best to, as in to make it easier for yourself, it's best to remove the roundness of your square. So just go in the option and turn roundness to 0. And now that we understood the easy mode of making the shape, I'm going to continue the lesson with the hard mode, which is the circle shape. That way you guys can understand the process better. Because when you think of skateboards, you have this really fun, abstract environment. So why make something else when we can just complement the environment that the video has. So again, I'm going to center this shape, and I'm going to Control-Shift-D. Control-Shift-D. Remove the excess, and then do the same thing for the rest of my clip. And align it over here. Then end it at where I want my transition to finish. So basically where the city video appears. Sorry, the city video finishes. So I need to kind of make it smaller. There we are. And let's see. I'm gonna move this around here. See if the transition with this guy is okay. It's a little bit here. All right. Now I'm gonna readjust my scale, my shape duration. There we are. I'm going to do the scale thing again, so just go in the beginning, hit S, make it 0, and then turn on your stopwatch to get a keyframe, move into the end, and just go for a large number. Let's go for like 300. Still there. 360. Easy ease both keyframes. And I'll let it render. Then play it back so we can see it. So now we have a circle just appearing out of nowhere. Save my project. And I'm going to go in the beginning. On my skateboard layer, I'm going to make a circle mask. So I'm going to go in a few frames to the point where I can see what type of circle I need to add. I'll start from here, try to match the mask. There we are. So now we just have our video appearing like this. We need to add a keyframe for the mask so that it grows with the shape and then it comes to full screen like our circle is. You can see it expands. And we want our mask to appear like that too. So go on your skateboard, open mask 1. We're going to make a mask path. So in the beginning, I'm just going to turn this stopwatch on. And then I'll go in the beginning of that clip to where the shape appears. And I'm just going to, let's actually start from the end, it's easier, to the point where the circle disappears. I'm going to go on this guy, mask path, hold down Control and press T, or just Command T if you're on Mac. Alright, Control T. And I'm just going to make this guy, just grab one of the corners and make it as big as your screen. We hold down Shift so it's equally done. You want to make sure that your mask layer is in the center, just like your shape layer. I'm going to hold down Control and press T. Delete that. Hit mask 1 and then hit Control T. And I'm just going to make this as big as the screen until we're filling up the screen with the second clip or the skateboard clip. Zoom out. And I ended up moving my video a little, just bring it back to where it was. Alright, so now you can see that we added a mask that still needs time. So we fixed the, let me do that again. We fixed the end, but not the beginning. So I'm going to come to this point. Now I can see that my mask is a little too big. So I will delete my second keyframe. Go on mask 1, Control T or Command T, and just make it as big as the mask. Bring the mask underneath the shape, meaning that your shape needs to be above your second clip. Make it as big as the mask. You can zoom out if you want. Oops, don't rotate it. Just make it large. There we are. So we need to make a few of these keyframes for the shape to fully move with our thing, our keyframe, our mask layer, sorry. So I'm going to, again, hit Control T. I have some spot here that I need to fix. And then at the end, I'm gonna make it as big as the screen. Alright, so from this point, see it's working out. We just need to work with the beginning. So I'm going to go to where it's not proper. Like here, Control T or Command T. Make it a little smaller. We want the mask to be within this shape no matter what. So make sure it's working out well for you. And I'm going to delete my first keyframe. Come in the beginning where the shape is super small. And zoom in to where the circle just starts to appear. So you can see it's like really small. And then on my mask, I'm going to make another keyframe. Control T or Command T and make it really small, as big as that tiny circle that we have. Zoom in. And try to match the anchor point to the center of your clip, of your circle. Because you want it to kind of expand from the middle and not from a random side. So I'm just making it as small as this guy. Zoom in to see if it's okay. Alright. Click away. And I'm just gonna let this render. Hit the spacebar. So now I know that I need to redo these guys. Now you just gotta work with your mask layers until, well, it works out, until everything is perfectly made. So I'm gonna come to a part where I can see my circle. So here, and then I'm gonna hit Control T on that mask. It's really small, just drag it and make it as large as your circle. Move it a bit to the right. Alright, and then we're gonna finish it off at where the mask ends. So it needs to expand all the way out. Just do that. Make it big and zoom out. Again, make sure that the clip is in the center. Don't rotate it. Grab the corner and just center the mask. Play that back. Alright, so you can see that at some point the video escapes the shape layer, and that is because we didn't really scale our mask in right. So you got to be really precise with the placement of your mask. I'm going to zoom and see what exactly is happening. So we can see our mask layer is not exactly that small. I'm gonna go delete this guy, bring it back actually, Control T, and just make it even smaller than it already is, because you can see it's escaping the shape that we had given it. I'm going to move in really slowly and see what exactly is causing this problem. Zoom out. Okay, I can see that. Alright, so notice how the shape is a circle and my mask is an oval. You can see the outline of the mask. So you definitely want to make sure that when you're scaling out your mask, where's the circle? So there's my circle. I need to make sure that my mask is also like this circle. I'm going to go on my mask again and make a second keyframe. So Control T. Just grab one of the corners. Hold down Shift and grab one of the corners so that I am making a perfect circle. Gonna click away from mask. Alright, so in between where we can see there's a little bit of bald spots, we're going to stop at that point and make another mask keyframe. So Control T, just expand, hold Shift, and then expand one of the corners. And it's really helpful to have these rulers because you get to know if your mask is centered or not. So right now I know that it's centered. I'm going to play it back and see from the point where our keyframes begin. So you can see it runs smoothly after this. So now that I have the 3 keyframes, I'm going to go in the beginning and just make my video super small. So I will hold down Control T again, Shift and just make it so much smaller. Actually, we need to do it from the corners one by one, because I want to make sure it's centered. Let me grab a horizontal line as well. Right. Control T, continue making it small, hold down Shift. So we want to make sure that the anchor point, which is at the center of our circular mask, is aligned with this point. This intersection. Zoom in using your scroll wheel. Just make your mask really small, almost as if it's not there. There we are. So now I'm going to zoom out. Click away. Let it render. Then we can see that we need to align it with our shape. So where's the shape? Okay, you can see that my mask is starting from the side. Bring this here. Just work with your keyframes, make sure they're placed nicely. We're almost there. Let me open the scaling for this guy and see where we went wrong. Right, so it's over here where we need another thing. You can see my mask is not centered, and that may be the problem. Control T. Shift and just make it small. Alright, so it's working well now. Zoom out. Let me let it render. We can see we have this really cool effect. Play it back. I'm gonna make everything easy ease. Grab everything, hit F9. So this will be easier with maybe a square or a rectangle. You can see again I kind of slipped out. Can delete this keyframe and then make a new one. The circle is a difficult shape to keep within a mask. Definitely recommend that you guys take something simple like a square if the circle is too hard. So you saw it's not exactly hard, you just gotta work around and make sure your shapes are perfect throughout the masking. Play that in again. Alright, so it's fixed now. If you go with simple shapes, you will save yourself some time, but I just thought that because of the abstract environment that we have, we should go with a less strict shape. Like a circle is more fun than a square. So if you play it back, you can see we have this really nice transition. I'm going to save my project. And if you want to save your project, you can either go in File, Save. Right now, for me, it's saving it automatically. So if you've saved this project before, it's just going to keep saving on its own. You can also hit Control S or Command S to save your project. So I'm going to hold down Control S and you can see it's saving my project. Now let's look at our clip from the beginning. Hit play. I'm going to zoom in. I'll get rid of these guys and hit Control R to disable the ruler. Hit the space bar. So this is the transitions that we've added to our clips. They're really simple and there will be more complex transitions in the future lessons. And we're going to learn how to make our videos look more cinematic, but for now these 3 transitions should be enough to explain basically how making transitions work in After Effects. So now this is my final video. If I wanted to add a music, I could do that and place it in the just below everything. I'm going to close these guys as well. Hit M on these layers. All right. So if I had a music, I would just put it below everything. so that we could make our video even more cinematic. I'm going to turn on my adjustment layer because everything is below. I don't need to create a separate one for this guy. You can obviously cut it, and I'm just not going to do that. I think it looks okay on the camping video. I'm going to expand this to the end of my timeline. So it doesn't look too bad. I'm just going to leave it. So we added an adjustment layer. We added these cool transitions and also the basic editing that we did in the previous lesson. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will see you guys in the next lesson.